Coming up on Friday and Saturday, year number 11 for Roof Sit. Roof Sit 2017, 95.3 WBCK and 104.9 The Edge. Atop the roof at Mancino's on Columbia Avenue in front of Meyer in Battle Creek. Why? We're making a spectacle of ourselves for a reason. We'll be up there and calling attention to the Inasmuch house at the Haven of Rest in Battle Creek. Battle Creek's homeless shelter, a stop for folks who need an interim place before they pivot back to self-sufficiency. Daniel Jones is back with us from the Haven of Rest to talk about that. Good morning.
What do you say, Richard? Good morning.
Welcome back. Getting
Thank
all
you.
pumped up now.
Oh, boy. 48 hours out.
Right.
We'll be on that roof.
Right. This is about the time when we all take a big breath and say, all right, here we go.
You know, I can tell because my phone starts to blow up. Text messages, Facebook messages,
Right.
phone calls, everything. It's every 30 seconds. It's, it's great.
Yeah.
Because it's coming together and it's going to happen.
Right.
But, oh, boy, I'm glad.
Is this, now that this is 11 years, is this pretty much a science now for you?
It sure is. You
Yeah.
know, everybody knows their role. Everybody does their part. The volunteers kind of fill in the blanks where we need on those bucket brigades. And, yeah, it's going to come off just like a science. You're right. It's very close.
Yeah, we talk about bucket brigades. What we mean by that is you'll see a number of folks out in a number of locations around Battle Creek, and they'll be holding those little buckets that look like they should have beach sand in them.
Sure do.
But instead, we'd rather have money in them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then those are critical to the success of this thing because they do bring in so much money. So if you see those bright green shirts, you see those bright green buckets, stop and throw a few dollars in the buck. You know, that'd be great.
So this benefits Inasmuch House at the Haven of Rest, a special facility at the Haven. What is it?
Inasmuch House is our family and children's shelter, and it's a very unique facility in Calhoun County. It's the only one that will allow, mom and dad to stay together with kids and keep the family intact through the crisis they're going through. But it is the only shelter, emergency homeless shelter here in Calhoun County that services the women and the children's kind of groups that come in, and we love it. It's busy. It's 55 beds, and they're usually quite full. Mm-hmm. It's an active place, and the kids are, beautiful kids. You see them every day. And Krystal here, who's with us here today, has got some absolutely gorgeous kids. And, it's great to see that folks get that opportunity to stay with us and rebuild their lives a little bit, get their feet back under them, and then move out into independent living.
Coming up Friday, day after tomorrow, and Saturday, we'll be on top of the roof at Mancino's on Columbia Avenue in front of Meyer near Helmer Road for the Haven of Rest and Inasmuch House. And Daniel Jones is here from the Haven with special guest Krystal, who has come to talk with us today. Good morning, Krystal.
Good morning, Richard.
Thank you for your time today, too. We were laughing off the air there during the break because Krystal said, can you Photoshop my voice for radio? That's kind of an interesting way to put that, isn't it?
It is. Auto-tune.
Auto-tune, right. Make us sound a little spruced up here. Yeah. That's funny.
Take
All
away
right.
the baby voice.
So you're a resident of Inasmuch right now. Is that true?
Yes, I've been there since May 11th, I believe. No, May 25th.
What has the experience been like for you?
It's been wonderful. They're caring. They don't let you have a down attitude. Like, they put you in upbeat spirits. When I came there, I had no diapers, no wipes, and both my boys are in diapers.
Mm-hmm.
And they helped me out so much. Like, anything I need, I mean, if it's down to the littlest thing or the biggest thing, they help me out with absolutely everything. I had no clothes for the boys or my daughter or myself at that. And they helped me out with all that. My closet's stocked full now.
So this is, Daniel, an example. Krystal's example is pretty typical, isn't it, of folks who are experiencing a temporary situation that they need to just have a little boost.
Yeah, it's very typical. A family, if you're talking about a homeless person nowadays, odds are you're speaking about a woman with children. It used to be, 20, 30, 40 years ago, that guy on the corner with a bottle in his bag and, a long raincoat or something like that. And that was the typical homeless person. But the fastest growing segment of homelessness in our society, and Battle Creek is no different, is women with children. So Inasmuch House serves that. We grew that facility 10 years ago, or
Right.
2007, to have 55 beds, up from 16 beds where we were at. So it's an incredible growth, but yeah, this is the fastest growing segment of that group that we need to serve.
And the Haven had to pivot to respond to that change, didn't it? Because you talk about the guy with the bottle in the bag.
Sure.
That was a different setup to respond to that situation than someone like Krystal who has children and trying to keep the family together.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to change a little bit towards serving that child that's there, and we support the children that are there. And like I said, Krystal's got some gorgeous kids. They're here with us in the building today at WBCK. And people sometimes wonder, doesn't it make you sad to see the children there? I'm like, not really, because they're in the best possible place for the kids. The people and the case managers and our child care workers that are there absolutely love these kids, and we get our arms around the whole family. And I hope you feel that way, Krystal.
Oh yeah, I feel like I've had I got my own family now. My old family, they pushed me away, but my new family's right there to pick me up.
Yeah, that's great.
How old are your kids, Krystal?
8, 3, and 2, and I have a 14-year-old that.
Okay. All right. So they have had, I presume, a better environment now, and one that, along with you, in a better environment, puts you in a better frame of mind to focus on their future, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. I definitely got hope for the future now. When I first went there, I did not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's changed.
Oh, yeah.
How did that change? What happened at Inasmuch that changed your viewpoint?
When I got down, I would go talk to my case manager, and she would bring me back up and say, this is just one day. The very next day is a different day. You can go back out there and do it again. It's not going to be the same every day, and it hasn't. It really hasn't. They've helped me get job leads. They've helped me with telling me where all the subsidized housing would be and where to apply and how to apply. And if I didn't have the opportunity to go there, they would bring me there.
Talking about her experiences. In fact, Daniel, what Krystal said about working with a case manager, this is part of how this setup goes, because you can offer an opportunity for someone to have a place to stay, but there are other things that have to come into play here in order to help them get on the right footing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the emergency shelter we offer is 60 to 90 days, and if you think about it, that's not a lot of time to create a lot of change in someone's life. But our case managers, I give them all the credit in the world. They are very serious, and they will hold you accountable. And Krystal's shaking her head, yes. They're very serious. I mean, day one, you're meeting with them and saying, okay, what is the real issue that's causing your homelessness? Where do you need to go here? What do we need to do to be successful and create that change? And our case managers hold folks accountable and get them going. And, yeah, it's exciting to see.
And definitely put a foot up your rumper.
where you need it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. And that's an interesting point, because these folks every single day are doing what they need to do to try and make this change happen that you say, as you pointed out, Daniel, is a limited amount of time to do that.
Yep.
And Krystal pointed out a moment ago that, she's having a down day. It's that person that's going to help turn her around. That's a big job.
That is. And our case managers will help them look for employment opportunities, send them to places that they can get subsidized housing, help them and advocate for them in the community, whatever they need. And that's what Inasmuch House does. I hope we're doing that for you, Krystal.
Oh yeah. I asked for a copy of help of other things like GED, high school diploma, or getting into schooling, and they're actually helping me with that too, sending me to the right direction to go. And that's another big issue. You want to further your education to be able to go places.
Right. And prior to coming to Inasmuch House, maybe it wasn't clear what steps you had to take.
I definitely wasn't clear at all.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So what about the future, Krystal? What do you see yourself doing in a year or 5 years?
Well, hopefully I'm, in my home, and I'm making, doing a good job, making a good profit off of work, and, just being able to raise my children and seeing their smile every day,
Mm-hmm.
having a brighter future for us.
Boy, you hear a story like that, it's a bit motivating, isn't it, Daniel?
It is, and we see a lot of success stories come through Inasmuch House in a very short amount of time. And I think Krystal's going to be one of those success stories. Years from now, maybe we'll come back to another roof sit 4 or 5 years from now, and Krystal will be saying, hey, I've got this great job, and my kids are doing great and in school, and successes like that. That's
and
what
we've met people who've done that.
We
at
sure
roof
have.
sits. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had stories of ladies that have shown up at Inasmuch House with 2 kids on the back of a bicycle, and 5 years later, she's a registered nurse. She's doing great. The kids are awesome and successful, and that's the kind of change we want to create.
So 61 years for the Haven of Rest, and here we are in another roof sit with another goal in mind.
61 years. We don't look a day over 29.
Yeah.
That's my
Right.
story. I'm
Nice
sticking
and
with
young.
it.
That's right.
It is. And, we talk about all these successes and changes we want to create. One of the things we also offer, there is a Christian message. It's
Yes.
a very faith-based situation, and Krystal, again, is shaking her head, yes. I'm hoping that opportunity to create a relationship with Christ has been offered. And
Yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah, most definitely.
That's what we're doing there. I mean, that's the first part of our mission statement, proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ so that all can experience God's love. And like we say, we get our arms around the families. That's one of the first things we're talking about.
All right, so Friday and Saturday, we'll open the phone lines and ask for your help in that respect. And the funds go to Inasmuch House at the Haven of Rest. $50,000 is the goal, right?
$50,000 goal, and last year we had a goal of 60, and we
Yep.
didn't make it. So if we get to 50 late Saturday afternoon, somebody wants to call with a $10,000 donation and push 60, I wouldn't discount that. That happens sometimes. So we'd love that. That'd be great.
Weren't all too far off from that 60, but it's a big number.
Yeah, it's a big jump from 50 to 60. But 50 is great. 50 is an awesome goal. That's 25% of our budget for Inasmuch House for the year. So it's incredibly important to get that with this fundraiser. And, we thank Town Square Media just immensely, Richard. You guys do a great job every year for us.
Well, we're happy to do it. And mind you, you said 25% of the budget.
Yeah.
This is a budget that essentially keeps the lights on and keeps the facilities operating for Krystal and folks who need that help.
Yep, that's everything 365 days a year. Lights, heat, water, supplies.
Yeah. All that stuff.
And personnel.
We all use, right, and personnel,
Yep.
right. All right, so thanks to you both, and we'll be on the roof on Friday and Saturday at Mancino's. That's on Columbia in front of Meyer, and we'll be there. Honk the horn when you go by, but better yet, make the phone ring while we're up there and offer a pledge, or maybe you'll encounter a bucket brigade. I think it would be hard not to.
I hope so.
This weekend. So put a couple of bucks inside one of those buckets and help Inasmuch House at the Haven of Rest. Krystal, I realize it takes a fair amount of courage to stand up and tell your story like
yes,
this.
it does.
So we thank you for doing that today, and we offer you the best of luck.
It's appreciated. I'd definitely do anything to help out them as much. They've helped me out tremendously.
Sounds like a good place on which to end. Thank you both. Talk to you again soon.